It is a day of December as I record this live, and I have to say that I would much rather be in a situation of being in person. There's a beauty of being able to easily do this at home. There's also a challenge in doing it at home. Part of it is drawing from that invisible strength that we can all welcome in, right? So the reason why I entitled this morning's practice emotional well-being, because I feel like that's just going to be a really important theme over this week. I feel like it's always an important theme anytime, and it's really important in my opinion. So as we're here, good morning to you guys who are showing up. If you have a request or a desire or a need, holler at me. I know, I'm glad you're happy to be here live. It's like we're adjusting, right? We're in that constant state of adjustment, and including myself. And in that adjustment, we're ending 2020 with a full Cancer moon. And that full Cancer moon, that energy, that archetype, what we're going to be invited to invoke and tap into is just recognizing our emotions, recognizing where we hold fear. The shadow side of this energy is choosing to live from a place of fear. Fear is that energy that protects the love of our heart. Fear is an important quality. It keeps us grounded and connected and safe. But we really want to be present to where that energy is coming from. So emotional well-being gives us this chance to tap in to what we're feeling, to what we're invoking, and honestly to respond from the ability that we hold, the strength, the backbone, our container, which is all earth energy, from that determination of rising above and tending to this great opportunity to live. We have to have an emotional foundation, right? We have to have a strong foundation. So we're going to start in child's pose, because my son told me the other day, I don't know who dropped it off, but Yoga Joe's, right? And so he's been doing all the poses of the little figurines, and child's pose is the hardest one for him, and he's a child. So it was an awareness point for me. So if child's pose is inaccessible to you, then what you can do is start seated or lying completely down, face down on your belly. Let's start all over. Hi, welcome. This is Teresa. We're all going to start face down on our belly, making a pillow, grounding into the earth energy, feeling the nourishment of the ground upon which we are resting, and feeling that great, oh yay, so happy you made it. Feeling that great energy of the Divine Mother, because that's also what the Cancer moon represents, is that nourishing energy. And when I say Divine Mother, it's that energy of being seen, being held, being valued, having that moment where what we are feeling is honored, right? So it doesn't mean that we call on our mom, right? It really is about calling on that energy of that which nourishes us. And when we call on that energy, when we call on that energy that nourishes us, what we can do is good morning, is tap into the goodness, right? Tap into that play of transformation and realizing in the cycles and in the patterns and in the transition, there's a steadiness for us. And when we can welcome that in, this is what the energy of the moon represents. It's the reflection of our vitality, that need to illuminate the areas of our life that holds pain or challenge or grief or mourning, right? And being able to welcome it in a way that we can nourish ourselves. So that's my little spiel. Earth energy is really the container. It's the connection. It is our four corners, our hips and our shoulders and our hips, and tapping into that. The water element is really getting into the emotion, the side body. Yay, we all need side body stuff right now. And getting into that side body, but making the connection from head to heart to earth, and from earth up to the heavens. So as above, so below, being that kind of universal principle that we can work with and engage with. So we're gonna start lying down, face down, pillowed hands, head on the earth, and we're gonna breathe into the belly, right? We're gonna breathe into that goodness of life being restored. All right. And in this full moon energy, I believe, I don't know, you guys can let me know, I'm going to test out the waters of playing with the idea of going from full moon to full moon cycles. So it makes more sense for me right now, being able to close out this year that's been really difficult with this boisterous moon. I watched it rise last night, and feeling that energy to nourish those parts of us that really need to heal, to handle the transition. So as we invoke this full moon and lying on our belly, I'm just going to say this right now, we're going to really begin with 3 breaths. The first one is acknowledging the vehicle, the container in which we're engaging with. Okay, that would be the first breath. The second breath is tapping into the soul energy of our heart, right? And that soul energy is just that connection that we're something bigger, that we are love, and that we can be present to that love. And then the third breath is that kind of connection of like honoring the body, honoring the energy of our true self, our sacred essence, that love, and feeling that connection to the highest good, harm to none, and inviting that energy in as we breathe. So that third breath is just really envisioning the highest for ourselves, for humanity, for mankind, for the earth, for the planet, however you want to say it. And then that fourth breath is just an automatic breath of feeling the assimilation of it all. So it's 3 very intentional breaths. And then the fourth breath, we just pause to feel the assimilation of all that energy. So come lying down, honor the earth, feel that connection. From your feet to the crown of your head, breathing into the belly. Big inhale in. Just feeling the connection to your being, this vehicle. And a big exhale out. Inhaling in to your heart center, to the soul's light, to that energy. And a big exhale out. Breathing in, welcoming the highest guidance. That our actions are here for the highest good. For all beings everywhere. And exhaling out. And just allowing that fourth breath to be. You're going to bend your knees and just circle your ankles, wiggle your toes out. So earth energy is really about feeling the container and the ground upon which we stand on. Now keep your knees bent, flex your feet. You're going to turn your head towards the earth You're going to just gently feel the inseams of your legs lifting up, like you're pushing the skies away. And as you're pushing up, feel the waking up of your inner thighs and the back line of the body. Okay? And as you push up, feel how your pubic bone pushes down. It may or may not feel good. And just wanting to bring awareness to the physical energy of the waist down. Okay? Now you're going to do the opposite. You're going to push your knees to the ground and feel the inseams of your legs lift up. So we're just waking up those inner channels. Okay? So just pulsing with the breath, maybe 3 times, maybe 5 times, maybe 10 times. It's just what feels right to you. And what we want to do is become centered in the opposition, right? Because earth and water energy complement each other. And as I record this live, we're really tapping into the opposition of the illuminated energy and the broadness of day and the illumination and the darkness of night. And so in that opposition, we can feel the polarity, and rather than resist the tension of the 2 differing energies, one being out in the world, one being at home, we can actually find our center. So feel the balance of the 2, draw into your core, and then just let your feet roll over to the left, and then turn your head to the left. 3 breaths into the belly. Relax the feet if it's creating tension. Hug into that core, and just feel that side line from your right inner ear down to your right inner pelvic floor. Really all the way to your right foot, but let's just work with the trunk right now. So feeling that nourishment, feeling that support from the ground beneath you. So what does this have to do with emotional well-being? Everything. Because if we don't value our body, then we can't really connect to what we feel. Inhale your feet through the center, and then exhale the feet over to the other side. And then turn your gaze in the direction of your feet, and 3 breaths here. It's subtle. Breathing into that belly. Letting the earth hold you. Recognizing the foundation for your experience. And that there's so much more. And then exhale out completely. Inhale, come back to the center. Keep the knees bent. Knees are going to push down to the earth. Hands go wide, okay? You can come up onto your fingertips. Bring the center of the forehead to the ground. Sweep the elbows forward. Draw the shoulders in. Draw the core in. Hug the outer hips. And you're going to keep your head down. You're just going to inhale, pulse the heart up. Exhale, melt the heart down. Right? Inhale, pulsing the heart up. You're stretching it forward, lifting it up. Exhaling, melting it down. 2 more. Inhale, curling up. Exhaling, melting down. Inhale, curling up. And then exhale, melting down. Stretch your legs all the way out. Point out through the feet. Just let them land where they naturally need to be. Walk your hands in under your shoulders. Shoulders drawn to your back. Inhale into Bhujangasana. And just put a pulse, pushing from hand to hand into the earth, especially the inner edge of your hand. And as you move from side to side, you just feel that little energy through the center line of you, all waking up. You're going to push your hands into the earth, move your big toes together, and move back to child's pose, the pose that's really difficult for my child to do. So whatever difficulty you have, honor that area of darkness, right? The difficulty is just stress. The difficulty is just a point of awareness of what actually is hungry for more of your love, your ability to embrace yourself. 3 breaths here, honoring the body, honoring the soul, honoring the connection to the highest potential. And then inhale, rise up onto your hands and knees. Walk the hands forward, tuck the toes, and then move back. So we're moving slowly because it's earth and water, so we want to be receptive. Bend the elbows, knees are down. Draw the legs towards the midline. Hug the arms and the shoulder blades towards the midline. Lift into your core, and then you're going to lift with your inner thighs, but your knees are bent. Pivot the left heel to the ground. Push through both hands and just get a long stretch through that whole left sideline. From that left inner ear all the way up through the left side of the throat, through the heart, down that space between your rib cage and your pelvic floor, through the inner thigh, all the way to the outer edge of the inner edge of the foot. Another full breath in, right? So we're just moving like we're in mud or molasses and just being clear of all that's there. Inhale, lift both heels, bend both knees, bend the elbows again, soften the heart, lift into the core, hug to the midline. You're going to lift through the inner thighs and then pivot your right heel to the ground, hugging the arms, forearms to the midline, shoulder blades to the midline, lifted through the core, and making that connection through that whole right sideline. Now, feel the opposition of the right side and the left side within yourself. Feel how they can be so different, and as you breathe consciously and mindfully, you're aware of the cracks or the areas that hold tension, darkness, stress that we're illuminating. And then inhale, come all the way back through the center. Bend both knees, finally full extension in Adho Mukha Svanasana. Stretch all the way into it, breathe into those lines. Pedal it out or just be super steady with it. Deep breath in and a deep breath out. As you exhale, bring your knees to the earth. We're going to move our feet over to the left and come seated on the right hip. Okay, open your knees apart if you need to. Bring your hands, right, find your fingertips. That was a long time on your hands. Find your fingertips, draw into the core, inseams of the legs move down so you get the connection to the low back. Anchor the outer hips, move the hands back behind you, lift the chest, lift the heart. Then inhale the left arm up, both shoulders draw in, twist, left hand comes to the right knee, and just lift through the heart, lift through the chest. So what you've done is you've just turned, so your sternum, your navel, and your kneecap are all orienting in the same direction, but don't forget about this area behind you, that whole left line. So from the left inner ear, down through the left side body, through the inner thigh, to the sole of the foot. Keep that connection and then bow forward. Come down to your forearms, let the head go. If you don't make it to your forearms, walk your hands out and just feel that connection. 3 breaths into the belly. Tending to the container, honoring it, appreciating it, awakening to the highest, and then allowing the actions to really be for the good of all, to truly be in service. So our ambitious nature and our strength and our capacity to engage with the world that we're in comes from a place of authenticity because we're allowing ourselves to be vulnerable enough to feel inward. Exhale out completely. You're going to come up onto your hands, walk them forward. Walk your hands forward. You're going to bring your left leg back behind you. Tuck the left toe, walk the right knee forward so you come into pigeon pose. Pull that strength inward, bend the back knee. So we're leaning forward to get this extension from the roof of the mouth to the pelvic floor, getting into that diagonal line. Back knee bends and feel that knee pushing to the ground, pulling inward, but also hugging the outer hips towards your tail. I know I'm being technical, but that's what happens when there's a lot of powerful earth energy. And breathe. The breath is so important. Breathing into our reality, breathing into our lives. Now tuck the left toes, lift the left knee up. You're going to pull up into your dog pose. Right leg lifts to the sky. Bend both knees, draw into the core, and then 3 circles with the right leg.
Right, just clearing out that right hip. And then extending the leg to the earth, full stretch, downward facing dog, extend all the way in, extend all the way out. And just feeling the clarity we've created through that whole right side body. Maybe you feel it in the left side body, but I want you to feel the two sides of yourself. You have the right side, left side, back side, front side. And how can the polarity of them help you connect more to the experience of you in the center and feel that wellspring of energy to help you navigate the uncertainty that exists. Bring the knees to the earth and exhale back, child's pose. Stretching all the way back. Let the arms go, let the hands go. 3 breaths again. Inhale, rise all the way up onto your hands and knees. You're going to move your feet over to the right. Inner thighs are moving back, sitting into your left hip. Right, hands come back behind you. There's the internal rotation of the legs, the anchoring, the hands ground, draw into the core, lift the heart, lift the chest. So feel the curvature of the spines, the elongation of the center line. Right arm lifts up. Draw everything back into yourself. Hug back into the container, this opportunity to feel, to be present, to bear witness, and then the right hand comes across and twisting. And as you twist, you're twisting from your insides, right? You're twisting from this inner processing. One of the things that I have learned in a deeper way this year is my adoration and minor addiction to connecting to the inner world and to having conversations, deep, meaningful conversations about the ways we navigate this inner world and transform so we can come back to love. So feeling that length through that center line, and then you're gonna bow. Don't forget about the side you've turned away from, right? It's always there. The opposing energy is always present. We just have the ability to respond to the connection of both. Stretching out, lengthening out. It's just so amazing how different the two sides are. And it's subtle. Obviously, you walked around in your two sides of your body, your whole life. It is the vehicle in which we want to honor and respect. That's the idea of earth energy. The determination to seek pleasure is really the energy of Capricorn. And so that opposing energy of Cancer is really about, well, how do we nourish? How do we nurture the home and the body in which we live, our house, our heritage, where we come from? The foundation of all things, our emotional well-being. Because emotions come from memories and the past. Exhale out completely, ground into the earth. You're gonna inhale, come up. Your hands are gonna come forward, right? The right leg stretches back. Push through the foot, come into pigeon pose. So again, we're in pigeon. We're making a solid connection. The energy is drawing in. You're lifting into the core. But you've got this diagonal slope of the spine, okay? So you're pulling in, leaning forward, shoulders are drawing in, hips are hugging to the midline, bend the back knee. And we're just waking up that connection into the psoas, into that energy of our physical body that connects to the part of our brain that processes the emotional response that is usually just automatic. And there are experiences from our past that have imprinted into our mind and our body this idea that's created habits that are sometimes optimal and sometimes not. Stretch the right leg back. Inch the knee in, so you're gonna push into your hands, hug into that midline, back knee lifts. You're hugging the leg towards the center, you're lifting through your inner thigh, you're going up, bending the knees, stretching out. Find your dog, lift into the core, shoulder blades hug in, ribs are drawing in, and then 3 circles. I might have done 4 on the other side. So do what you feel inspired to do. And then you're going to extend the leg down, stretch out into that full dog pose. Deep, full breath in. Feeling how now the 2 sides of the body, from your 2 hands all the way up through the rivers of the arms, the side bodies, down into the feet, there's just a connection to having a more clear flow of energy. And so hold that energy in a way that it can flow so it doesn't get stuck. Inhale, come forward into a plank pose, knees high or low. Bend the elbows all the way to the earth. Hands point back, feet point back. Shoulders are drawing into the back. Hug that container view. Hold that energy and then inhale, rise up. 3 breaths here. You're going to breathe not so much into the belly. We want the belly contracted right now. So breathe more into the sides of your lungs, the sides of your ribs. It may or may not happen. Just give it a shot. And as you exhale, exhale out completely. Hands come under the shoulders, feet ground down. Inhale, cobra pose. If upward dog is your jam, go for it. But if you can stay connected to the earth, I would highly recommend that. Lift through the core and move it all the way back. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Just feel the clearing, the awakening, the opening. And then we're going to walk slowly, step by step. All right, feel the earth support. Shift the weight out of your feet. Out of your hands into your feet. Come to your fingertips, bend your knees. Relax the neck and jaw. Climbing all the way to the top. Once you find the top, feel a micro bend in the knees. Lengthen the rib cage away from your hips. Cradle your arms. Now we're not just letting it all go. There's a big engagement here. So part of what the moon teaches me is that the moon can only light up at night because the sun is still super bright. So we don't just go into full moon energy and collapse. We recognize that it is actually the energy of great alignment that is allowing for the illumination, that's allowing for the experience. Deep breath in, deep breath out. And then inhale, lengthen the spine. Feel that length. Yes, you know it's coming. Bend the knees, elbows to your thighs. And as you arrive, 3 breaths here. We're just regrouping. We're stabilizing the low back. Because as we're here, this particular energy of this week, we're really giving ourselves permission to feel the change of our own habits and patterns. And in that change, how can we have extreme self-care, or I like to say sacred self-care? You're going to push the feet into the earth, bring the hands to rest on the heart, shoulders draw in, inhale, rise all the way up. Now once you come standing, push the feet to the earth. Feel the sides of the body long, heart open, sides of the throat long, and then arms by your sides. Relax the neck and jaw. Feel connected to the breath. Deep inhale in and a deep exhale out. Then interlace the hands behind you. So palms are open. Turn the hands back. Clasp the hands, shoulders to your back. Big full breath in. And then you're going to walk your feet wide as your yoga mat. Turn the feet out. Feel the hips. They're going to want to push forward. So pull the thighs back. Draw the core in. Bend your elbows. Come all the way into a squat. Your hands are back behind you, so it's a little vulnerable. Full breath in. Where we're going to go here is we're going to lean forward, pivot the feet so they turn inward. So feel the pivot of your foundation, how that allows the shift in the experience. Extend the legs to the position that you can connect to. Big inhale in. And then turn the feet out. You're gonna bend your knees, come back into that squat. So your squat may be here, by the way. You don't have to come all the way down. Don't drop, right? Don't drop into your joints. And then we're gonna come standing. Oh yeah, big breath in. Free the hands so the palms turn forward. Turn the feet forward. Big deep breath in. Deep breath out. And then exhale 3 more times. Hands clasp. Heel toe the feet behind, wide. As wide as you need to go. Heels stay on the ground, so stay connected. Draw in. You may just be coming here, okay? And you may go from here to the forward bend. Go to the spot that you can respect and honor that energy of you. Hips lift up, feet turn in, fold. So noticing your habit, okay? Noticing the energy. How are you relating with yourself? Are you denying any pain? Don't be afraid of pain. Pain is the permission to allow ourselves to grow. And then feet go wide again, shoulders stay to the back body, lifting in the core. So your inner thighs are doing a lot of work here. Open the heart, and then inhale. Come all the way up. Free the hands, big full breath in. We'll just keep our feet where they are. Last time. Hands clasp. Switch the interlace of the hands if you haven't. Shoulders in. Exhale into Malasana. Right? Feel that garland of connection. Inner thighs lift, feet turn in. So you go from externally rotated to internally rotated. Come back into that squat. Oh no, come all the way up. I wasn't sure I could get up. Turn the palms open the heart. Big deep breath in. Hands come, rest, breathe. Ground into all that you're awakening into. If you feel lightheaded, you want to keep the head up, knees bent, and really push into the earth so you can ground yourself. One more big breath in. Just stand in your light. This is why I want to go from full moon to full moon cycles, at least from now until the solstice. There's a lot of reasons that I'm not going to unload right now. But I deeply believe that we do not need to transcend this experience, but rather welcome and allow ourselves to move more deeply into and through, so we can actually embody our own light. So if we ignite from that illumination, then perhaps we can trust more fully. Big inhale in, and then exhale, knees bend. Lead with the heart, fold all the way forward. Inhale, lengthen the spine, and then step back, downward dog. Three breaths here. And then exhale, knees to the earth. Move back into the pose of a child, Balasana. My lovely Lulu is here. You're going to inhale and come up onto your hands and knees. It's really wonderful. My space, my studio, my office, the energy that's all mine, is the warmest room in the house. I love it. Okay, so you're going to come up
And as you come up, I want you to make a choice here. And like part of the reason why I like to give choices is that I like to, for those of you who watch, practices over and over again. And just I'm gonna segue just a little bit. If you need to invoke more earth energy, or you need to invoke more of that watery emotional connection, then you can come to this practice anytime. It does not need to be a full moon. The sun or the moon doesn't even need to be in earth or water energy. What we want to do is actually, when do we need to cultivate that energy and start to trust in that? That's part of the emotional well-being. When do we feel incredibly scared and fearful? Well, then we need to ground, breathe, and give ourselves permission to feel safe enough to feel what we need to move through. So you can either come lying down and do Dhanurasana, bow pose on your belly, holding your feet, or you can come standing on your knees. Lulu helped me make the choice here. And so as you're there, decide, breathe in, right? So come back to those 3 breaths. Those 3 breaths hopefully can start to be practice here, so it can be part of your practice in your daily life. And I'll explain more of that as we continue to journey through the year, especially with the New Year's Eve class. So if you're going to come lying down, pause into it, connect to your choice, and then just make that opening. If you're on your knees, we're all going to feel that energy of that hugging towards our center, embracing into our core, right, into the chamber of our heart, and then the deep layers of our innermost self. And as we make that connection, feeling both the dance of internally rotating our legs as well as externally. So feeling even that opposition there, that's a subtlety that works better when you're in person. But as you explore your practice in your zone and in your space, feel how that opposition creates the container to connect. So as you're there, you're going to then choose. You're going to hold on to your ankles if you're on your belly, or perhaps not. I am not going to hold on to my feet today, and I'm not going to hold on to my hands or my back. I am actually going to rather embrace the back body. So my elbows bend, my hands, arms are pulling into the midline. I'm connecting to that bounty of energy that's supporting me, lifting the heart, grounding in, and really leaning back into the heritage, the history, the past that has brought me to this moment of illumination. So for me, it is here. For you, it may be the full expression of Ustrasana or the full expression of Dhanurasana. But wherever you choose to go, you feel in to that connection of you through the inseams of the leg, the throat, the sides of the body, the inner thighs, into the feet, into the hands, and you allow for the energy to flow clearly. Because that's the best thing about our emotions, is they're always changing. So we're present to the change, and in that foundation, we can stay strong in our spines and our backbone, but open in our hearts. 3 breaths, honoring the body, awakening to the heart, and aligning with the highest. And wherever you are, if you're in Dhanurasana, melt to the earth. If you're in Ustrasana, feel a lift of support from behind the heart, coming all the way up. If you're in Dhanurasana, pause, breathe into the earth. If you're in Ustrasana and your legs allow you, just sit into the earth. Feel held, be nourished. Allow for the dance of the breath to just move through you. Letting go of the need to figure anything out, but just rather honoring what is, what's being illuminated, and loving those parts of yourself.
We're gonna come lying on our belly, so perhaps you're already there. We're gonna lie next to my lady love. We're gonna come to the left side of the body. Okay, you're gonna come all the way over to the left side. I'm gonna come down, all the way down here. You're gonna line yourself up. The head's gonna rest. Get the small side of the waistline up off the ground. So you don't wanna crank the rib cage down because that misaligns the spine. So the back waistline, right? We're really calling on that deeper nourishment to support the backbone, right? Then bend this is gonna be hard, you guys. Bend the right knee, draw the right shoulder into the back body, pull into the core, and then open. And as you open, the heart's gonna move forward. You have to have the inner thighs moving back, your outer hips, shoulders to your back. I hope I don't fall on Lulu. And just breathe. Whatever comes forward is beautiful, is brilliant. And then as you exhale, you're going to free your foot behind you, stretch your other arm up above you, and just open the hip up. I know it's a little funky, right? You're on the ball of the foot, but we do this standing a lot, and we're just clearing this side that just worked hard. And then we'll stretch the leg out long and roll over to the other side. And as you roll over to the other side, you can feel just how much, since Lulu's here, the idea of that divine mother energy that I brought up earlier is unconditional, right? It's just there. It's just supportive. It doesn't always make sense, but it's there for us. And so we're gonna really be invoking that connection to awaken to it. So line up. You're gonna find that when you come to the other side, right, there's a difference of feeling. You could do this up on your arm, but for whatever reason, my hips feel extra bony right now. So get the side waist up off the ground, okay? You don't wanna be pushing down. You gotta get that rib cage off the ground, pull into the core, pin the left knee. So you're gonna bring the thighs parallel, shoulders drawn to the back, and you're just gonna feel how much wavers on the inside. Shoulders draw in, you're kicking the foot into the hand, the inner thighs moving back, the knees pulling forward, so there's a lot happening. There's always a lot happening. And then what we're doing really is we're breathing into that steady silence, that energy that appears to be hiding from us, and awakening to it. It's a powerful yet subtle offering. And then exhale, you're gonna free the foot. We're gonna roll over onto our backs this time. And as you come onto your back, don't disrupt the precious Lou. Oh, she's gonna roll on her back too. Once you come onto your back, stretch I forgot to do that move. Roll back onto your side. Maybe you remember to do it, but I forgot. So you're here, your foot comes back behind you, you draw into the core, and you stretch long. The reason is we just want, so what we're doing right now, right? It's nice to know why you're doing these weird things. Our psoas goes from the back of our rib cage through, this is the tenderloin of the body, right? And it picks up with every vertebrae. And it is the muscle that connects our legs to our spine. And so in that connection, it is that energy to me that helps transmit from above to below and from below to above. And so it's a really important channel, not just physiologically the way it works with the amygdala, but if we can honor the psoas, we'll just clear, right? Even if we just become aware that we need to clear some of the deeper energy that gets stuck, because guess what? The body doesn't lie, right? Okay. And the recognizing that the body holds wisdom is a really important element to living with more clarity and potency and energy. Okay, so here you are. Feet under your knees, arms stretched behind you. Breathe into the energy of your own heart. To your back body. To the earth. And to the energy above. You can bring your arms by your sides or keep them up overhead. Left ankle to your right thigh. Pick up the right foot. You can even stretch the right leg long. Just keep plugging the right leg. Right femur bone in. Don't pull the tailbone up. All right, so you're plugging in, breathing. You can even move from side to side. And then you're going to free the foot. Left leg's going to stretch up. Knees gonna bend, a little half happy baby. So you're gonna end up leaning towards the left, keep the right side grounded, draw into the core, bend the knee. Stay connected to your breath. And then extend the leg, you're gonna bend the knee and just switch sides. Arms are overhead or out to your side, right? They can totally be here. Right ankle, left thigh. Again, using that core. So we're not just pulling the leg in. There's a deep involvement, right? Remember I said I love connecting to the inner body. And as we actually shine our light inwardly, we actually awaken to the potency, the power, the grace, the revelatory energy that is also here to nourish us and connect us to our highest self, so we can feel the guidance of our own soul, our own love, our own wisdom, and feel that sort of ability to tap into an articulation of our light and our life that is true. Okay, so you can extend the left leg. I hope you did all the variations that feel right to you, but your core is working. It is engaged. It is not a soft belly land. And I think hopefully you know this about me, but we always use our core. Bring a Z foot to the ground. The right knee is going to open towards the right armpit. Half happy baby. All right, so we can just feel the duality in the body. That's really the one. Okay, it's another principle that I teach from. But it comes to that opposition. The duality is the non-dual energy that allows for the experience. The contrast gives us the awareness to know, just like the darkness. When the moon is new, the night is very dark. When the moon is full, the night is very bright. And the darker it is, the more stars we can see, the more we can see what's being illuminated. You're gonna free the leg, bring the knee down. Okay, so I have blocks. You're gonna always wanna have at least a block or a bolster. I'm sure you can find them on Amazon. This little love of mine is just not moving. She's so happy to be home with us. So I'm gonna do this with a block. You can do bridge pose. You may feel like you need the big explosion of wheel pose. If you go for wheel pose, I just want you to be very clear as you move up into the pose, you hold the form, and then you exit out. My shoulder has been really angry, and so I'm listening to that anger of how I need to heal, and I had a big insight. So bridge on the block for me, friends. You can do what you want to do. Once you come into that awakening, if you use a block or a bolster or even some pillows or rolled up blankets, you're gonna let the hips rest, shoulders growing, throats open. You really want to start to work the muscles of the neck in a way where you're not just leaning into support. So no support here. But as you can see, my fingers, my hand is moving through. My hand can slide under, and that's the opening we want. I'm not an advocator of this move, chin to chest. Why? Because we live in the age of technology, hence doing yoga via technology right now. All right, and breathe. If you're on a block, and I feel inclined to do it, and you want to pick your feet up, go for it. Notice how though I'm picking my feet up, but my knees are bent and my knees are wide. It's like a butterfly pose and bridge and supported shoulder stand. And then pull into that center, and then your feet can go up to the sky. So supported shoulder stand. Wow, look, I'm shaking because that's how much I'm using my core. That's how much I'm tying in to the deeper layer. You probably can't see the shake, but that's that volatile vulnerability, which is a little bit of what I'm going to talk about on Thursday. If you're just in bridge or you're in wheel pose, go back to bridge pose. If you're not on a block and you want shoulder stand, come out of your pose first, 3 breaths as you clear it, and then transition into your next expression. Otherwise, feet are on the ground. Lift the hips up, come off the block. We're going to come down vertebrae by vertebrae. So if you go into the full expression of shoulder stand, this will work for you. Arms stretch back behind you, come up onto the balls of the feet, right? We're gonna lower down vertebrae by vertebrae. So that means our inner thighs are moving down, but our tail is up. So they're working together. I'm rolling down onto, thank you, Lou. All the way down, then you gotta let the tail go. Heels come to the earth. Knees can windshield wiper from side to side. And then over to the other side, if you can. And then we'll come back through to the center and extend the legs long. Bring the arms down below the heart. And feel the ground beneath you. She's like, I'm out of here, thanks. Feel the ground beneath you, settle into that support. Maybe you need more support. That's the idea of like invoking that Cancerian energy of invoking and, wow, my life is just so hard right now. I need to call on more support. What does that mean? That's up to you. And if you don't know, you call that friend to help here. But you really want to call the friend that's non-biased, and that's what's hard, okay? You want to call the person who can see you and hold space for you without judging you, right? It's a positive regard, thanks to Carl Rogers. So settle into the ground and into the earth and breathe. Notice where you feel tension. Yeah.
Can we wash this out?
Sure. And as you feel tension, then just pause and honor it and watch how then you have the ability with the interception of the breath, right? To respond from an ability that you can respond to or from. So listen to what the body is needing. Like I said, I have bolsters sitting right beside me, so it's hard not to use them. And so you melt into that support. 3 breaths here. Breathe into the body. Breathe into the heart that beats the life for your soul, your highest self. And then allow your breath to be of service to you, your soul, your life, and humanity as a whole. And then just let the breath find her way. just as you are. Allow for the expansion of your inner world as you breathe in and breathe out. And just as you are, allow the breath to help cultivate the quality of nourishment as you breathe in and breathe out. And just as you are, be with the wellness of your own heart and soul. And being true to yourself, let the energy of you expand outwardly to your feet, to your hands, to your head, and beyond. And then you're going to bend your knees, roll over to one side. And then pause for however long you feel that the pause would serve you. And once you're ready, you can rise. Rise into a seat that supports you, that allows you to feel grounded and returned to that fullness. If your eyes peeked open, welcome in the light that surrounds you, even if it's the tiniest little shimmer. Bring the right hand to the earth, the left hand to the heart. Be well with the energy that's within you. Feel the strength and the ambition to nourish yourself in a way that you can continue to illuminate the darkness, the shadow, the patterns and the habits that really are being called forward to change and shift. But lean in to that strength of your own individuality that comes from the many expressions of the divine. Breathe into that optimal energy of yourself, that inherent and innate goodness that's accessible and available to each of us to know fully, to be ambitious with, to stand strong in and determined, and to be known in the world of the service to the great light, to the love, because you've been able to nourish the layers of yourself in a way that is receptive, that provides refinement, that allows for that individuality because of the collection of consciousness of your own life and your own experience. Let the right hand come and rest on top of the left. 3 breaths here. Honor your container. Honoring your essence. And allowing the highest to not just serve you, but so that your life, your experience, your embodiment can be of service. And so we say hello in that full radiance, that full illumination from within ourselves. And we allow that light that surrounds us and is within us to guide our way on. And so it is. From my heart to yours, the light that's in me, and straight to the light that's in you and shines for all of us. Namaste. And may you continue to reflect that light, however it appears to you and in the ways that it presents itself. I will continue to dance in the way that I can dance in these offerings. And in that dance of these offerings, I do know that I will be here December 31st for New Year's Eve to really close out, to have a celebration of 2020 rather than really
praising the death of the year. It is imprinted into each of us and all of us. Every single being and cell on this planet has danced in this journey of darkness together. And as we move forward, the energy of the celestial heavens, the celestial influence, is reminding us that it doesn't just poof and change. We have to allow for the assimilation, the integration. And as we integrate what has come, we want to pause. And this is what Thursday's practice is. And it's any time that you can pause and really acknowledge the threshold that you're crossing over and respect that energy that's come forward, to lean into it in a way to help us assimilate and integrate as we really begin this new decade. So, sorry, I get wordy at the end sometimes. I thank you guys. I appreciate you all. And the more we can be mindfully, the more we can be true to ourselves, the more we can be compassionate and help the truth of one another come forward. Because I truly believe that we each hold a gift. You know, we each are a genius in our own way. And when we practice in these slow, soulful connections, that we feel that energy come alive in us. And it's this chance to see that this practice of transformation, this practice of yoga, of really bringing together the opposition of the mind and the body and feeling the intersection of the heart, that we then no longer live in tension, but we live with intention. Fun play on words. And we can live with more connection to compassion, which then just brings more peace. All right, so until next time, all right? Mwah! I thank you guys.